All right. Well, with that, we are live on Amazon. And so, as you can see, we have got Natasha Tynes here and some of her books, but I met her at PodFest. And so, the first thing that I actually have highlighted in the carousel, Natasha, is your podcast, Read and Write with Natasha. Well, welcome to Amazon Live.
Thank you, D. Scott, for having me today. And I'm really excited to join you and chat about books and podcasts and other fun stuff.
Lots of fun stuff, I hope. But we met at Podfest, as I mentioned. I've got that highlighted in the carousel, as well as we have your books in there. We'll be talking about those in a moment. But let's first talk about Read and Write with Natasha, because I've listened to your episodes and you take a deep dive into books.
Yep. Well, books are my bread and butter. I mean, I am a journalist by training. I've worked as a journalist for 25 years. And so writing and publishing is something I've been doing for a very long time, since I was 19. And publishing books is the natural progression. And I published my books. I published two and a number of short stories, and I have a new one, actually a children's book coming soon. In addition to that, what I mostly do to support my art, I guess, is to ghostwrite. And so I ghostwrite memoirs, and I also help other people publish books, mostly through, if they don't want me to write the book for them, through ghostwriting. So I write the book with them through book coaching, and sometimes I also help them self-publish and other services. So the podcast for me is I interview people who publish their books, and we talk a bit about the content of the book, but gradually the podcast became more about the business of publishing, the habits behind the scenes, and all of that, just to help authors and aspiring authors who's struggling to publish books, or want to choose their publishing path and all of that. So I love it. It's so much fun. I tell my friend it's like a mastermind for me. And at least twice a week I speak with like very smart people, and we have wonderful discussions, and we happen to record it, and that's it. It's as simple as that.
So we get to drop in on this mastermind that you have, and you're talking about publishing books. And let's talk about ghostwriting for a moment, because some people may have heard that term. Many people are not familiar with it. What does it mean to ghostwrite a book?
Okay, so first of all, ghostwriting is when you write the book for someone else and their name appears on the book. It's a very legitimate legal way of publishing, and some people just don't wanna spend the time, or don't have the time to write the book, or they don't feel that they have the talent. Although I feel everyone can publish a book if they want to, but many people, especially busy CEOs, they want to have a book like a legacy, or maybe they have some of their business ideas they want to publish, but they just don't have the time. And so they hire a writer like me to write the book for them. But the way I do it is through an interview process. So we go on a Zoom or like a live session just like this, and I put on my journalist hat first, and I ask them questions about their life, and I dig deep, trying to get the emotions, some of the stories that they either forgot about them, and then by chatting with me they remember them, things that they think did not matter but actually matter. So we do that, and then I take the transcripts of the discussion and I turn them into mostly either a memoir or a nonfiction book. But yeah, it's a fun process. It's honestly life-changing for the person and for me as well, because especially when it comes to memoirs, it's, for me, it's like a lesson in living, especially if somebody is older than me, and they have more life experience. So you realize that people, when they write their memoirs, they're not gonna tell you the most important thing was the PowerPoint presentation or whatever. The most important thing is the relationship with their loved ones, the time they spend, the things that they said or they have not said, pursuing what they wanted, pursuing their passion, stuff like that. So for me, it is life changing. It is a lesson in living.
So so you'll write these books, memoirs, and it is a great thing for many people to have a book,
Yeah.
whether they're a CEO, an executive, and have great stories to share about their journey. Sometimes it's just your own life stories.
Yeah.
And so people can just go to the carousel here on Amazon, and we've got highlighted Read and Write with Natasha. That's your podcast. And so people can subscribe to it right here on Amazon, which is a lot of fun, very easy to do. You've also got some books out on your own.
Correct. Yeah. So I think maybe you can see them in the background, but so I have two novels. The first one, my debut novel, is called They Called Me Wyatt, which is a murder mystery set in a speculative setting. And the fun part about this novel for me is that it came to me in a dream. I know this sounds like a writer's cliche, but
I love it. Yeah,
but it is the truth.
How did you decide on this book? Well, I just dreamed it up.
Correct. I know this sounds so cliche, but that is the truth. I dreamt the beginning of the book, the first 2 pages, the first scenes, so that they're like very wild, and from there I showed it to some of my writer friends. We had a group, like a critique group, and they said, Natasha, turn this into a novel. So I did. And so it was like a murder mystery. The other one is called Karma Unleashed, and it's a story of immigration, about an immigrant in the suburbs. But it's not your just like regular immigrant story trying to fit or pursuing the American dream, because that immigrant has a superpower. And her superpower is seeing the future when people touch her.
A very handy power. Maybe.
Exactly. Maybe
it's good.
So she walks her dog around the suburbs, and she discovers the secrets of the neighborhood, and discover what's going on through people just shaking hands or trying to pet her dog or whatever. And so and then many surprising things happen as well. So that's the second one. And the one that's hopefully coming next week, it's with the designer now. It's a children's book called The Lonely Cucumber, and it's from the perspective of a cucumber who is sad because he's left in the lunchbox, and the person who owns the lunchbox eats all the other stuff, like the sugary stuff, and leaves the cucumber.
Oh my gosh.
I know. So the cucumber is very lonely because he's always left alone.
I'm going to put this up.
So this is basically about like encourages kids for like healthy eating and stuff like that. So that's the third one. And I'm going to have fun with it. It's going to be my first children's book. My kids are grown up now, but it reminds me of the books that I used to read to them when they were younger, and I think it'll be fun.
Well, I'm going to remind people that here on Amazon Live, we have Natasha Tynes, author and journalist, writing coach. Click on the book. So They Call Me Wyatt or Karma Unleashed. You can click on the author, Natasha's name right there, and it'll take you to her author page where you can follow her. So when the children's book comes out, you'll be notified. Which is a great thing about Amazon here, is that people can click, follow you. Any of the books that you release will come out and notify them, and then they can just add to cart and get a copy of it right away.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's fun to know. That's good to know. Okay.
Yeah, we want people to be able to take advantage of early access as soon as your books are available. And so you started as a journalist. You have the podcast. You've written books, and in fact, you really wrote this one for your own benefit, but then shared it in the group. And then
Which one?
you were encouraged then to publish it.
Yeah,
That's it.
exactly.
Yeah.
They called me Wyatt. Yeah. So
Oh, they called me Wyatt.
I actually wrote it as a short story just for fun.
Yeah.
And for me, you know how like sometimes, we dream, and if we don't write our dreams, we like forget them in a
Yeah.
couple of hours. And I was lucky that I actually wrote it down. And I keep a dream journal in addition to the many journals that I have. I have one specifically for dreams. And I'm not always like updating it, but for this reason, for some reason, this dream was very powerful, and I felt I had to write it down, and I turned it into a short story. And that's when the group told me, no, turn it into a novel that would work really well as a novel. So I did.
So tell me about the dream. What was it
Um,
that inspired you? Because dreams are always fleeting,
yeah,
and when we write them down, it's hard to capture the emotion that you feel in a dream.
correct. But I remember the emotions. That's why I think I remember that I wrote it down. I think the dream was so okay. So I I like murder mystery stories. Like I love Dateline. I'm just gonna give you this kind of background to understand how my subconscious works when I sleep. So the dream was I was on a roof of a building, just looking, and then somebody pushes me off the roof of the building, and I fall down and I die. And I see myself dying, but then I wake up reincarnated in the body of a 3-year-old, like American boy, like in living in Seattle. And so I see the world through that 3-year-old boy's
Okay.
eyes. So for me, the story then, I decided it starts with that kind of murder scene, but then the boy is is speech delayed, and he there's a if people like believe in reincarnation, and if you study some of these people's accounts, they say there is a period of a child's life when he call it talks about his previous life. I mean, whether you believe it or not, but that's from what I read, especially in certain religions like the Druze religion in Lebanon, like reincarnation is part of their religion, and like some religions in India. But and so between that period is when they remember their past life, and then they start mentioning details. So that boy who's kind of speech delayed is trying to tell them who pushed that person down the off the roof of the building, but then the boy grows up and just forgets about it, and somehow he comes across the story of that woman and who was killed or who died 25 years ago through some sort of a connection in college, and he realizes that the police ruled it as suicide. And then that boy, who's now a man, is for a reason he doesn't understand. He's just obsessed with that murder. Like he doesn't know why he's so obsessed with that murder, to the degree that it like ruins his relationship, he ruins his college, he ruins everything just to pursue trying to get justice for that woman that was killed 25 years before. Yeah, she was killed the day he was born.
So a fascinating story. So
thank you. That was the dream.
that's the dream. And so we have Natasha Tynes in her book that she's talking about the dream. They Call Me Wyatt became a short story and now a novel. It's available right here on Amazon. Got it highlighted in the carousel. All you got to do is click it. It'll open a new tab. Maybe you have a friend that you would like to have a little book club with. And so right on Amazon, you can order it and you can put their address in it and send it to them as a gift for no reason other than your friends. And you want to share a fascinating story, have a little book club, maybe in person or over the phone or a video conference. They Call Me Wyatt. What a fascinating dream that you're able to turn into a story and then a book.
Yeah. That's what happened. I mean, our subconscious is filled with these ideas.
Yeah.
And when we and this is when it wakes up, I guess, and that's why I'm obsessed with dreams and documenting the dreams and just trying to understand what my subconscious is trying to tell me.
Yeah. I think there's a good reason for us to write dreams down.
Correct.
And so I like the idea of having a specific dream journal. So I use my regular daily journal, and some mornings I'll wake up and I'll just remember a dream that was, for some reason, had an impression on me.
Yeah.
And I'll write it down there, just to capture it. But I like the idea of a separate journal just for that you can refer back to.
Yeah, I think I read it somewhere or I heard it on a podcast where someone said like you're missing out if you do not write down your dreams. And
Yeah.
I think I realized that all the dreams that I had that had huge impact on me, and some of them are actually recurring dreams that they keep coming again, and there's another explanation for that. So I'm very connected to my dream life, and so it was a no-brainer for me. I was like, yes, I should have been journaling my dreams for a long time. But yeah,
Do you go back and read past dreams?
I
Do you go back?
I do, and it actually shocks me because I completely forgot about them. And when I wake up, and sometimes I go back like years, I was like, oh my, like, what is this? And it's amazing how quickly we forget them. And that for me is like the fascinating part, is that we forget them quickly.
Mhm.
But to the degree that when we revisit them, we completely have no idea of that we actually dreamt them. It's like reading a whole new novel. And we remember other stuff that happens to us while we're awake, right? Like especially impactful things. But why do we forget our dreams?
Yeah.
And I don't know. Why do we forget the subconscious and remember the living? And it actually reminds me of this movie by Demi Moore a long time ago, like maybe 20 years ago. I think it's called Passion of Mind. And I'm always fascinated by this movie. And in the movie, Demi Moore I think, starts living with her. It starts with her being like a widow in the south of France, raising her children. And then when she goes to bed, she dreams that she's like a top executive in New York City. And while in New York City, when she goes to sleep, she dreams that she's living in the south of France with a bunch of kids. So she does not actually know which one is the real one and which one is the dream. We, the viewers, keep guessing. Like, and in both versions, she goes to a therapist, and the therapist in, let's say, south of France, right, to convince her that her New York life is her dream, and the therapist in New York tries to
course, right? Yeah,
that the south of France is a dream. So anyway, so that's, for me, is like the word of dreams is just fascinating, like which one is real and which one. And I love the fact that they actually made a movie about that.
So here we have Natasha Tynes today, author here on Amazon. We've got her books highlighted. We're just talking about dreams and writing your dreams. I will say pursuing your dreams, because Natasha, you turned a dream into a short story and into a book, into a novel that just is a fascinating story of a murder, reincarnation, an obsession to solve the mystery.
And you know what? Something really weird happened in that book. You can take it as, the way you want. But so I finished the book, and maybe 2018, and it was published 2019, I think, and like the earlier version, and then I changed it. Anyways, and remember, I wrote it in 2018, and the book there is like future time, and the future was like 2026, I think, like now.
Okay.
Anyways, and the guy is talking to someone and he tells them, yeah, this guy made a lot of money in 2020 because he created a vaccine for a virus that came from China in 2020 that killed a lot of people. And so this guy made this vaccine. And when people was like, it's like, how do you know? I was like, I don't know. I just like wrote whatever. I was thinking of like previous pandemic, and randomly I picked the year 2020 and I randomly picked China.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. So I don't know. There's something weird about that book, and that there's definitely something magical about it.
So definitely hit the book. It's highlighted in the carousel right down below our picture there. They called me Wyatt. Add to cart, and then that's in another tab. Then you can come back and you can learn more, because I want to talk a little bit more about Karma Unleashed.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about this book.
Okay, so this book. All right. So for me, I as like an immigrant myself, and there's a lot of talk about immigration now in the news. I always talk about immigration, right? And this is the word I see, right? If you tell me write a novel, I cannot write about someone like growing up in Ohio, whatever, because that's not the word I know. The word I see through my eyes is I've been living in the US for 20 years and seeing the US from my sort of immigrant foreign born person in the US, right? But for me, the idea of writing the immigrant story has been used a lot in fiction. And I felt I wanted something different than just the quintessential immigrant story of like pursuing the American dream, the dream turned into a nightmare, blah, blah, blah. You know, these stories have been told many, many times.
Sure.
Okay. And I felt that the readers are also tired of them. I mean, they had their moment, I think, in time, but I wanted something different. And as you know, I like magic, I like mystery, I like the supernatural. Don't ask me why I like this stuff, but I do. And so that's why
it's convenient when you're writing fiction as well.
Correct. And so I created that word of that woman who sees the world in a different lens, not only because she's an immigrant, but also because she has that ability that very few people have, and how she can either use this to her advantage or to her own self-destruction. And so there's a lot of symbolism as well. And I invented a country where that person is coming from. I called it Bilak. It's somewhere in the Middle East. And the reason for that is I think in my first book, it was set in Jordan where I was born. And then I got into, no, this does not happen. Although I was, I lived there for almost 20 years, but there's always people don't like it. I think, you're airing our dirty laundry, whatever. And I just did not want to, and I was like, okay, fine, I'll pick another country. I was like, why do I even want to get into that? I'm just going to invent a country. Well, I can do whatever I want to. So I invented one, and it was fun. And that gave me the liberty to put whatever I want in this country without worrying about someone. No, but that did not happen in 1971. No, but I was like, so it's kind of, so I invented this word where this person comes from and has this weird ability, and she's in the US suburbs trying to use that ability.
And so her superpower, when she touches people,
correct,
she sees their future.
So she sees if someone like is good and bad, sometimes she sees someone like she remembers she was at the library, and this woman, she saw her like on a cruise ship having fun, so she knew that there's some good news for that woman. And then she sees somebody at a hospital bed at the end of his life. She sees someone who beating up his wife, and she's trying to stop that. Like she sees things that are gonna happen, and she's struggling if she wants to interfere to stop the future,
Yeah.
but the question is, can you mess with fate? Can you actually go and try? And it also goes to some like ancient beliefs, which is some people believe that whatever happens to us is already written, it's already planned,
Predestined.
predestined, and so it has like, it raises a lot of like spiritual question, is if
Well,
you
and
know
that's
that's happened, can
yeah,
you go and actually change what's been written? Are you
and
allowed
that's
to
the
do that?
benefit. That's the
Yeah,
benefit of fiction is that
exactly.
you can explore different issues.
Correct.
And now you made up a country, so now you're not
Exactly.
you're not
I'm not
getting entangled, right? Not entangled in those issues, but you can
I'm not
explore.
airing anyone's dirty laundry.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm airing my dirty laundry.
Well, and I will say it's the human condition where you're looking at morality
Correct.
and then the metaphysical side. Can you or can you not make changes? So first of all, you're wrestling with should I, and then you're wondering can I,
Exactly.
even if I want to, maybe I can't.
Exactly. So that's
Yeah.
basically the question. And I left it a bit open to see if I might do another like a sequel to it. So
Yeah.
it's up in the air. I just want to finish the children's book and then I revisit
Yeah.
what I'm gonna do with it. Yeah, I'm having fun. You're not gonna be a millionaire publishing books, and that's not my goal. It's just unleashing my creative juices, building a brand, having fun, and just making few bucks here and there. But that's not.
Well, and
That's
you also have the story
not.
Ustaz Ali, which is a short
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
So tell us about that one.
Oh wow, that's that hits deep. So this is a story kind of inspired by me growing up, and it's about this teenager at a Catholic school in Amman, Jordan, in the Middle East, and what happens is it's a Catholic school. It's mostly a Christian school in a majority Muslim country. So there's that issue of religion, and also during a time of like heated political climate, which is, I guess it's always a heated political climate in the Middle East. So you have these kind of forces happening, and then suddenly a teacher comes to the school and he's very charismatic, very handsome, and he started convincing the girls at the school to cover their head, to be pious and to cover their head. And that was back in the 80s, where that was not a common thing, in the 80s, at least in Jordan. And suddenly, when there was no girls with covered heads, suddenly you started seeing all these girls covering their head because they were influenced by the teaching of this very handsome, very charismatic cult leading personality, cult figure personality, right? But then, and then there's the scene, which is the nuns are upset by this scene that's happening at the school. So they ask one of the girls, like, why did you cover your head? So the girl who covered her head looked at the nun, but you also covered your head. So you realize how you view others, and you view different perspectives, you view different religions, but eventually when you put these two, the girls are actually doing the same thing, and everyone thinks they're right. Anyway, so the girl is observing all of this, observing what's happened to that, and she actually becomes also secretly obsessed with that teacher, with that kind of cult-like personality. And I know you have to read this. I actually give it for free. So I give it away for free. So if you want to read it, you want to know what happened with those girls.
Highlighted right there in the carousel, Ustaz Ali, the short story, highlighted in the carousel. People can click on it. So tonight on Amazon, it is Natasha Tynes
Yeah.
and Ustaz Ali's short story, free. Just go click on that.
Yeah.
We've got your podcast highlighted there. People can go and read and write with Natasha. And so Karma Unleashed takes place in a country that you created.
Correct.
With a person that has a superpower of being able to touch people and see their future, has to wrestle with the ethics and the morality and then the metaphysical of should they or can they intervene.
Correct.
And then this whole story with They Called Me Wyatt, where this book literally came out of a dream, became a short story. You shared that, your writing group. And I encourage people, isolation is a killer. You need to get involved and work with other people. So you mentioned you're in a group and you work with authors. So people can reach out to you and learn more about the process and maybe get involved with you.
Yeah, I mean, feel free. Like, my email is natasha@natashatynes.com or ntynes@gmail. I'm everywhere on social media. You can DM me, you can WhatsApp me, you can. You have a
much less common name than Smith, so
correct. Yeah, and well, yeah. Yeah, you can find me. Yeah,
so they can search for Natasha Tynes, author, on all the platforms, but also click the books right here. It'll open a new tab, and then click your name and follow because you've got this children's book coming out.
Correct.
And so, what ages is this book geared for?
The children's book, it's, for me, I would see between maybe 4 to 10. I mean, that would be the age that would people enjoy. And so 4, you can read it to them. And then, I mean, even 3, you can read it to them. But then when they start reading, they can actually read it in elementary school. So because the sentences, so it's basically elementary. It's, I would say, preschool and elementary school.
The Lost Cucumber.
The Lonely Cucumber.
The Lonely Cucumber. Okay.
Very, very sad cucumber.
The sad cucumber. And so a fun story, but also helps children with understanding nutrition.
Correct. Yeah, because the cucumber keeps telling them, guys, I'm good for you. I have vitamin A and I have vitamin K, and I'm good for your skin, and I make your face glow. And then no, but they go to the sugary stuff. And the person who has the lunchbox, her name is Layla, which is actually the name of my daughter, and he's trying to convince her. But she's embarrassed because her other kids, the other kids in the school, they don't bring cut cucumbers. This is like kind of a Middle Eastern thing. And so she's embarrassed by her, let's say, immigrant mom who packs these like weird snacks, which is a very natural snack. And, she does not want to be different, I guess, than the other kids who their moms do not cut raw cucumber and put them in the lunchbox for them.
Well, we have had, just put the comment up there, Susan Lynn Castelli, The Lonely Cucumber. Vanessa Yonts says, that's the vivacious Vanessa, says hello.
Hi, Vanessa.
We have Melanie Love, who has joined, and Daniel McElhenney. So
hi, guys.
They're sending a few comments out. And I know we have other people watching, but lurking in the background, and that's fine. But what I want you to do is to click the books in the carousel, because we've got those books right here. You can see They Called Me Wyatt, Karma Unleashed, as well as Read and Write with Natasha, the podcast. So in the podcast, I know you talk to authors and share stories about books, and also you do we talked about the ghostwriting, where you actually write the book on behalf of somebody, but it's published under their name.
Correct.
And then, but it's a great way to get the story out or get that, get their background memoir, whatever it is that they want to share. And then also on the podcast, are you giving tips about publishing, about self-publishing and using traditional publishers and so forth?
Correct. Yeah. I mean, that's what we talk about. And what I always ask every author is about their publishing journey. And so you finish the manuscript. Now what? I mean, we talk about habits and mindset and all of that, but one of the things is now what? And one of the things that I started noticing in, let's say, 3 to 4 years of running the podcast is how the publishing industry actually started to change right in front of my eyes while I'm talking to the authors during those years. So in the past, let's say, I don't know, 10 years ago, self-publishing was considered like a stigma. And I remember I talked to authors and we said, don't ever self-publish. Publishers would not even look at you if you self-publish, right? Now, things completely shifted, that if you have a big platform and a big audience and you self-publish, traditional publishers are going to come after you and ask you to publish the book that you self-published. And I have so many stories of, like, think of Colleen Hoover, Frida McFadden, what's his name, the guy who wrote The Martian, and others. These are but some examples of what happened. And I interviewed an author here who was offered, I think, a deal by Penguin, I think, approached him after he self-published, and he turned them down. He said, I make more money on my own. I don't need them. After I did the math, they took apart the agent, the whatever, all of that. It's not worth it. I already have the platform. I do not need them. And with the rise of like KDP, Amazon KDP and Ingram Spark and other platforms, it's the industry is completely shifting. And I talked with authors that actually are experimenting with both at the same time. So like some books of them have traditional publishers, others they self-publish, and they keep kind of experimenting and seeing which one works better. So they, and this has not been the case. Trust me. I mean, I'm old, but not that old. But but I've seen the change happen in my lifetime, which is just to tell you that the change is rapid and it's happening right in front of our eyes.
Yeah, when I will say back when, and this is probably back in the late 80s, I think was when the term vanity publishing
correct
was first used. In a very negative sense.
Correct. Yeah. Like you're a narcissist who wants to self-publish book for your own vanity.
Right. Yeah.
Like this.
But the problem in those days was you still had to buy an enormous number of copies.
Correct.
And if you didn't have a garage to store them in, you were kind of out of luck. But today, and right here on Amazon, we have print on demand.
Correct.
And you can print the hardcover copies of your books, which I'll just say that we've been a few times to the Texas Library Association conference, and a lot of people publish books in soft cover because it's less expensive for people to buy, and people are sensitive about pricing.
Yeah.
Libraries. So if you think your book would be good to be in a library, then get the hardcover version made as well. Because librarians don't like softcover books; they like hardcover books.
That's true. That's a good.
And you might as well, because you can choose the binding and choose hardcover and make a hardcover version of your book. So there's a tip for our authors out there that have books or are thinking about publishing books. Go in and make modify your book and send it out as a hardcover. Just a new ISBN. But that's all right. You can add that on.
Yeah. That's a very good tip. I like that.
So let's go back to the books we have that we're highlighting here, which is They Called Me Wyatt, murder mystery, very fascinating. Karma Unleashed, lady with a superpower being able to see the future when she touches, and all of the dilemmas that go with that. I would think that that's also very emotional in the way that you wrote that.
It is emotional, because she also has to deal with like childhood trauma issues, issues of identity, issues of belonging, issues of grappling with herself, of who she is as a person and as a person with the superpower. And it's somehow it's kind of play on the word alien, especially
Mm,
they use for like immigrants here, and then alien, and she herself is an alien, and she's in like an alien with superpower, so it's
mm,
kind of play on that.
sure. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not political. I mean, I don't like surprise. I don't like to get into politics because I'm so tired of it,
I
being
hear you.
growing up in the Middle East. So, but it's I think it's a more like as you said, it's a moral dilemma, and
Yeah.
it's a human issue as well, and it's also about the choices that we
Yeah.
make, and the bad and the good choices that we make, and what compels us to make the choices, and what drives us to make bad choices.
Part of what I would think is kind of an invasion of privacy when
Mm,
that happens,
correct,
because you're
correct.
seeing something that you shouldn't maybe have seen.
Yeah, but then there's a lot of people who, if you believe that they're psychics or they claim to be psychics or whatever, and that's another, or a medium or whatever,
Yeah.
that's another form of privacy invasion. But sh the character, she did not choose this,
Hmm. Right.
and she's actually all of her life she's trying to hide it, and trying, her mom knew about it and kept telling her, you have to hide these hallucinations that you have. You cannot keep no nobody will marry you if they know about
All right.
about,
Yeah. Hmm.
about this kind of crazy mind of yours. So you have to lie to your future husband about this like
Every
crazy mind of yours. Yeah.
every superhero
Because
has to have a secret identity, right?
exactly. So her mom was really worried about her being an old spinster. So yeah, so she,
As mothers do, as mothers do.
uh,
Natasha, this has been fun. We've got Natasha Tynes, Amazon books right here on Amazon. We've got her podcast, which is Read and Write with Natasha. If you like books, if you want to write books, if you want to encourage other people to write books, I encourage you click on Read and Write with Natasha, the podcast, and subscribe to that, as well as adding Karma Unleashed and They Called Me Wyatt to your library. And again, the great thing for people, you can just click it. It's going to open a new tab. You can add to cart, send it to yourself, buy a copy and send it to a friend, and have a book club. Maybe several of you want to get together and just enjoy a murder mystery. Right, we're coming into the spring season. People are still sequestered in the house. I know that you're there on the East Coast, snowed in a little bit, it's slushy out. What could be better than curling up by the fire, reading a book, and then sharing it with a friend?
exactly. That's the best evening for me is fireplace, a thriller, and a glass of red wine.
There we
Perfect
go.
evening.
Well, take us out, wind us up here, and give some encouragement for those people who are
Mhm.
thinking, I've got a book in me, but I just don't know where to start. And
Okay.
we'll let you finish it up tonight.
For me, I mean, let's start with your mindset, which is what's stopping you? Do you think you don't have the talent? Okay, here's some news to you. Talent is overrated. Don't worry about the talent. If you want to write a book, you just have to have a structure and a system, and you have to have a daily or almost daily writing habit, and you have to treat it like a project or as if you have a job, right? And if you don't feel like going to your job, you're gonna go to your job. You're not gonna say, "Oh, I have a writer's block. I have a jobs block." No, you're not gonna say that. You're gonna show up, rain or shine. And the same thing for your book. If you wanna finish it, you can finish it in at least the first manuscript. First draft of the manuscript. You can finish it in a 3 to 4 months if you write 700 words a day. That's it. If you commit to finding a sweet spot in the day, let's say you're an early riser, and you can 6 to 7 before you go to work, before the kids wake up, whatever. That's how I wrote my first book. When I wrote my first book, I had a full-time job. I had 2 kids in kindergarten, and I had a baby. And and I had to commute to DC. I live in the suburbs, so I had to commute like an hour to go to DC to my office. It was a very demanding communications job, and at the World Bank Group, so it was pretty hectic. But I did it because I wanted to do it. So I was like, I only have 6 to 7. That's it. That's the only time I have. And the words added up. Yeah. So that would be my advice.
Well, great words. We're going to wind it up here and say thank you, Natasha, for coming and joining us on Amazon. The books are available, and you can share this link with other folks out there that would like a great murder mystery and some encouragement. But with that, we're just gonna sign out for tonight and say thank you to everyone for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a great time.